All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Taped Crusaders, the podcast that reviews every single superhero movie and TV show ever created. I'm your co-host, Mike Allen. As always, I'm joined by
Joshua Mervell, and today we're going to be talking about the 1998 made-for-TV movie, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
This is the pinnacle. This is the one we've all been waiting for. All right.
God. Thank God.
Ian, what do you know about Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
All I know is that Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., is the perfect movie to watch after absorbing the outcome of the American presidential election.
That's a good.
If you ever need to just like erase your brain entirely, this is a 90 minutes. I don't know, mind erasing
Thingamabob.
Yeah,
So-
it's not a movie. It's I don't know what it is.
Well, okay.
It's something.
Again, this is something that came and went. This movie came out in the middle of Batman and like
X-Men,
that zone, that uncanny
yeah.
valley between Batman and X-Men, right? The old era and the new era. Somehow I missed it. It came and went on TV.
I know how you missed it.
Because
I
no
know
one watched
exactly
it.
It was
how you
on
missed
TV exactly one time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
no one
That's something
yeah.
else that I was very happy about. Like after seeing the results of the election, like, oh, okay, fine, I guess I'll watch this movie, and then loading up the file and 4:3, great.
Yeah.
this is perfect. We don't even have an aspect ratio that interests me.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I've heard bad things about this film. I'm just going to say I was, to be honest, shocked that I actually thought the shooting was good. I thought the cinematography was good. Everything else was bad. The writing was bad. The writing by
Awful.
David Goyer,
Who's done
Blade,
actual
Batman
things,
Begins, co-written Dark Knight, something else recently. Like he's still working. He did the Foundation
X-Men
TV series.
movies, like, doing different things.
Co-writing the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
He's a major player.
Was this like his first thing
It was
that he'd
probably
ever
his first.
done?
He was like a
Maybe.
teen when he wrote this.
I also heard that like he wrote a script and then they
Shopped it around for years.
apparently they told him David Hasselhoff was going to be Nick Fury after he wrote the scripts. Then they had to rewrite it
Okay, that explains a lot. Look, I'll just say
for a
this.
David Hasselhoff movie.
I
They had
think
to dumb it down for Hasselhoff.
put it this way. I think everything about the movie could have worked, but the directing was horrible, which then meant the acting was horrible.
And the editing and the effects and like everything.
Yeah.
Nothing worked in this movie. It was awful. It was so boring. I had more fun watching Scarlet Pimpernel than this movie.
Yeah, I did. I did too.
was my eyes just glazed over. Like nothing it was retaining.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's not even so bad that it's like laughable. Like if I had a couple of drinks, sat down with my friends, watched this movie to like make fun of it, I don't even think we would have that much fun.
No.
It's
Right.
that dull.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Champion,
know.
what do you think?
It is so dull that I was literally like I was worried driving here because my brain was not
You were thinking
retaining
about
any of it.
it.
I was
Yeah.
like,
You're gonna fall
I have to
asleep.
talk about this movie. I hit stop, then I hopped in the shower and I got in the car and I came here.
You forgot about it.
And in the car, I'm like, aside from David Hasselhoff being ridiculous, this ridiculous gruff monotone the entire way through, I don't remember anything about it. Except for thinking that based on the hammy dialogue, it would have done better as a cartoon. And I don't mean like a
Sure.
good cartoon. If you take the audio track of this and you take all the live action out of it, it would be a great soundtrack for like an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like something equally cheesy.
Well, the thing is like you've seen Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Long time ago.
Yeah, Commando is a bad movie, but that's so bad it's good. It is so much fun, and Schwarzenegger is so funny.
He's
and charismatic.
charming.
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger
and
has always been charming.
Right.
And it's shot well. It's
Sure.
it's also made to be an action movie. Like the action looks good.
Yeah, but
right? Like
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like there's this weird tone because like if you read the interviews with like David Goyer, he's like, oh well, David Hasselhoff, I wasn't happy about it, but he got that it was a joke. Well, did he? Because in the whole 90 minutes, he had one line that he delivered very well. Did you notice it? He sets off the explosives and he's like, take cover.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
good.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
laugh
yeah.
out loud funny.
Yeah.
Everything else in the movie was just
Hey,
over the top. Like it wasn't even like he's tough. He's just an asshole,
Yeah.
an unlikable asshole.
Oh,
The
you put me out
whole
to
movie.
pasture, and now
He's
you
not
want me
funny.
back.
Like in the elevator, shooting the elevator with his gun. Like what a moron.
awful. Oh my
And
man.
like the like the asshole colonel. Like so over the top. Like
Yeah.
just try to ground it a little bit in reality. And this whole trope of like, oh, the guy that disobeys the rules, and then the other soldiers pretend they can't hear him. If that was the real army or the Air Force, they'd all be court-martialed. Like, I can understand you can skirt the rules a little bit for fiction, but it's just so stupid.
Not to mention, right? His breaking of the rules is so stupid. And this is going to be the second review in a row that I'm going to mention Demolition Man.
Sure, okay,
Right?
okay.
If we're
The
gonna
gold standard of 90s action film.
Right?
Yeah.
And the gold standard of your protagonist breaking the rules.
Sure, okay.
Right? Okay, his idea of breaking the rules, Sylvester Stallone, is to blow everything up and kill everyone and just cause mayhem on your way to get this one guy.
Sure.
David Hasselhoff, his idea of breaking the rules, you're too sick to lead this mission. Yeah, I probably am, but I'm going anyway.
That's
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. He's got the flu and he
I
goes to
know.
work.
I know. Well, that's the thing is, this movie sucks, but there's so many like things that it kind of imitated. Like it imitated Commando, it imitated Top Gun, but it didn't do any of the things it was trying to do right.
Yeah.
Like okay, David Hasselhoff was shit, and this is what I mean is like if you took this exact script and took out David Hasselhoff and even took out most of the other actors, like the bad guy
All of them.
colonel, the two twin bad guys,
the
and girls,
Von Strucker twins or whatever.
take them out. Like maybe it could have been watchable, but it's like everyone was acting badly or being directed to act badly. And then we can go through this later, but I think there's a lot of miscasting, which we'll get to. But I don't know. It's like you could just say everything's bad, but okay, let's just talk. Didn't you at least think the cinematography was good? I thought so.
I
Ian?
don't know.
I didn't really notice the cinematography, to be completely honest, because I was too scratching my head at the script and the dialogue and the delivery and the weird special effects that, I mean, this was what, 1998?
Like the helicarrier in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't.
And I noticed
Your oversized hair dryer.
oh my God.
Oh yes.
And
yes.
at the very end, like I didn't notice this right away, but towards the end of the movie, is it an aircraft carrier?
It's an aircraft
Like
carrier.
an actual legitimate aircraft carrier with this thing underneath it that makes it hover.
Kind of. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's called it's called a helicarrier. So
But it's just the dumbest kit bashing. Like you took an actual aircraft carrier model and you didn't change it and you put this floating thing on it.
okay.
Yeah.
As far as what it like you're asking what they used in the movie?
Well, it looked dumb.
It didn't look great. Like the helicarrier is in Avengers 2 and possibly other films, and it looks great. Right?
Was that canon? The thing that's actually an aircraft
Oh
carrier?
yeah.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
called the helicarrier in the comics.
And
like
it doesn't. It works in the comics. Even
Yeah.
in like the other Marvel movies, the way that they've set it up, it looks good. It feels like an actual like aircraft carrier.
yeah.
This feels like it's
It's
ridiculous.
garbage. It's
Yeah.
Boat
And-
with wings.
And here's the
Yeah.
thing: is like we're not going to explain everything about Shield, but Shield came out. First of all, the original comic was Nick Fury and his Howling Commandos, and then in the middle of the '60s, they brought those characters because it was set in World War II. In the middle of the '60s, they brought those characters into the present day and called it Nick Fury, Agent of Shield, which was a play on the Man from U.N.C.L.E., which itself was kind of an imitation of James Bond. So it was all these spy movies and spy TV shows at the time. There was also Mission Impossible. So this was obviously a play on that, right? Then later, this entire franchise was kind of imitated by G.I. Joe, courtesy of Larry Hama, who had thought of an idea that was basically like the trainees for G.I. Joe. He had this idea, the trainees for S.H.I.E.L.D. He had this idea. Marvel rejected it, but then Hasbro came along and said, by the way, we have this toy line we want to sell. So then Larry Hama said, why don't I just reuse that idea? So I'll suggest that you create a bad guy similar to Hydra, but you call it Cobra. And that's how everything. And if you look at, there's a lot of like the Countessa is the Baroness.
No
Interesting.
research on this podcast. You're
Yeah.
not getting this from the toys that made us.
Yeah. So anyway, but the point is that if you go back to the 60s S.H.I.E.L.D, there is the that's how bad this movie is. Jim is okay. So anyway, Jim Steranko does like he gave the comic book a flair of just that 60s spy. The swinging 60s style, the fashion, the art style, right? And of course, this has none of that. I mean, to be fair, the TV show, the modern TV show had none of it. The movies have none of it. But this doesn't even attempt, like they don't even get a bad version of that.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Or even feel like a modern version of it. It feels like something completely different.
It's
right?
a weird steampunk aesthetic throughout the
Well,
entire...
okay. Well, why don't we go back to the way they introduced Nick Fury is idiotic. Like to me, again, if you go back to Commando, the gold standard with Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's living in his house with his daughter. He's retired. They got to bring him back for one more job. Okay, so we'll use that idea. Let's just use Nick Fury for that. Except he's in a cave. What is he throwing hammers or something?
Yeah,
He's pickaxing a wall.
Yeah, why?
That is perfectly flat.
It's
not like
fucking
he's like
stupid.
making his home bigger. He's
No.
picking a wall that is flat, like nothing is happening to it.
No,
Well,
that's
it's-
moronic.
It is. I mean, like, you know what he's doing. He's trying to extend this cave for some reason. Maybe don't show it right at the beginning, right? Like he's taken 10 swings at this wall and that's all he's done. And you see a couple scrapes. But also why? Like, why is he in the Yukon?
The point, like, I mean, I'm not saying there's a right way to introduce this character, but it's certainly not this. Like, to me, he's either in a super cool, ultra modern house out in the middle of nowhere, or he's hidden somewhere because he's a spy and he can hide wherever he wants. Like, maybe they go to Moscow or they go to London or Paris, somewhere exotic, and he's living somewhere in disguise. Oh, it's Nick Fury. But instead, they try to make him out to be this, like, super tough guy, but, like, not cool and not likable and not funny, just a big asshole, right?
And also kind of powerless as well, because it's like he's been shipped off to the Yukon and he can't do anything about it. And he's just trapped up there. Why is he trapped up there? Is this, again, never read a comic book, is this something that fits into Nick Fury's character? If they fired him and said, you go live here now, would he just be like, oh, I guess I live in the Yukon?
I would say no. I would say no. Because, again, depending on which era of the comics you read, no, definitely not. I mean, the whole idea to me is that he, I believe, created S.H.I.E.L.D. He's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Even, there's been times where he's been fired and evil, Hydra takes over, but he always finds a way. He'll go recruit people to help him out. Like, he's super smart. He has to be. But in this movie, he doesn't seem like Nick Fury. He seems like a Green Beret, like the tough.
Yeah.
Like, we got to go find this guy that's so tough. We need you for a mission, and there's no one else as tough as you. That's what he is in this movie. But he's not super smart.
He's good at punching.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, anybody could have. I feel like any one of these agents could have stepped in his role, and
Sure.
the movie would have been the same. Like, he doesn't really do or bring anything new or different to the table that somebody like. Why do we need to get him? Why do we need to go out of our way to find him?
And why is it the people that seem to have more intelligence and more skills, the people that can handle this stuff already, are the people that are coming to find him?
Right.
That's a good point.
It always seems, and it's not just this movie, seems to be a common trope where you've already got everything you need.
Yeah.
Except for this one guy.
I know. You're right. It's like we just have this one guy to help us punch.
Yeah.
That's all we need. Yeah.
Yeah, or you could just get another gun.
I know. Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right.
You probably already have one.
Yeah.
And okay, so here's another thing too. They finally convince him to come back to S.H.I.E.L.D. And then he shows up. He's like, all right, what's the mission? Blah, blah, blah. And he's going through all of like the tech things. And they already have a gun that is...
That's the James
scanned
Bond
to hit-
Q
yeah.
moment where they're giving him all the doohickeys.
And then they show him the life model decoy of himself. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is using all this advanced technology, brand new thing that's never been seen before, a life model decoy, and we're gonna model it after the person that we fired, and we sent
And then we
him
just
away.
got back.
Like-
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
What?
But not only that, how long would it take them to make this? right? They've been working on this for a couple of years.
That's
I'm
what I
sure,
mean. Yeah, like
right. And this,
Wouldn't
you
it-
don't know you're bringing it back yet.
Wouldn't it have been smarter to have like life model decoys of a couple other guys? Then at the end of the movie, when they reveal the LMD of Nick Fury, it's like a surprise. Oh, we've also got one of him, and he used it or whatever. When he's in that fight scene at the end, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
How the fuck did he get that thing there? And then she's been fighting, or he, I don't remember who, was fighting it all along, and then he's just sitting. That was just so stupid.
Did that
Right?
come
And
up again
obvious,
in the
right?
meantime too? Like we meet this LMD at the very beginning,
Yeah, and then
and,
it
and
disappears.
then
for
it
the whole
disappears
movie.
until the very end when
Yeah.
we see him get shot. It's like, oh, is he dead? Like, nope. Turns out it's that robot from the beginning of the movie again.
the only time we see another life model decoy is when the director walks in, and it's not really the director.
Yes, and he starts
And-
firing, which was remotely clever. Which was because he just basically aimed, and the other guy had to duck. That was at least cool.
Cool when you have a reason, right? Set something up because
Right.
and they just sort of wave it away at the end. Like, how'd you know that was the decoy? I was like, I didn't.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, shut
Wah,
up.
wah, wah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You did know. Tell us how you knew.
Also, how and why do they have to send a life model decoy?
Oh, there's no
to
reason.
send the message.
There's no
Yeah.
reason.
And they
He's got
put
a
like a
projector in his
projector.
mouth.
Yeah. It's so stupid. Like so much of this movie does not make any sense.
Well, that's true.
Oh,
No, it's not. Let's be clear. It's not a good movie. The plot is stupid. Do you want to briefly talk about the actors? Do you have your phone still, or is it smashed?
no, it's good.
Okay, it's good. Okay, so let's talk about.
see.
We all agree that David Hasselhoff was terrible in this film, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like really bad. Okay, so who's the next actor we want to talk about here? Who do we got?
Contessa is played by Lisa Rena.
Okay, so I'll give her credit. At least she's Italian or half Italian because the character is supposed to be Italian.
Sure.
Now, here's the thing: is this character is supposed to be a European aristocrat, jet setter, right? I love Julie Louis-Dreyfus, but she is the new Countessa in the new TV shows and
Okay.
movies. Doesn't fit the role at all. This actress, at least more so. She wasn't great, but she wasn't terrible. What'd you think? Nothing.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
nothing for this
You
character.
feel nothing. Yeah.
I feel like there's not much I do feel about this movie. I feel like no, she was just so bland. She didn't have anything to do. Nobody really has anything to do in this movie.
Yeah.
And when they do something, it feels weirdly like, why is this happening? So I don't know. I don't have any feelings for this actress or the character.
Okay. Champion.
She was there.
Yeah.
They did cast her.
They cast
Yeah.
her. She showed up.
She set her lines. She got paid. She had her snacks.
Yeah, yeah. A lot. I mean, I'm going to sit here and say the exact same things that Josh said. It felt to me that a lot of the time the actors were watching the movie happen too.
Like the plot was happening to
Yeah,
them.
yeah. And it's like you're just kind of seeing them looking at things
Yeah, I could see
that are
that.
happening. She didn't have anything to do. They tried to shoehorn, like, did they have a previous love interest?
Yes,
They
they
do say
established
something
that.
about
Oh
But
God,
that didn't go anywhere.
no. It's like Indiana Jones, right? Like Indiana Jones and what's her name in Raiders? The girl, Karen Allen. What's her name? Whatever her name is. They have a past, but it's played well. It comes into play and
Bugging
it
me that I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
It starts with an M.
traumatized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Miriam.
No, Marion.
Marion, yeah.
But in this movie, the way that they're sitting in the car and they're like, whatever, you left me or whatever.
Oh
it's
my-
just boring and brings the plot it screeches to a halt, and then the way that they kind of reconcile at the end, it's just bad. It's bad all around.
Yeah.
It's bad.
And with David Hasselhoff being such a fundamentally unlikable character.
Yes.
It's you don't buy any like.
It just makes me
You
think.
have a hard time buying these love stories when they're happening.
Right.
And this is just so implausible that even though it happened 20 years ago, I don't believe it.
Was it? That's what I mean. It makes me wonder: was David Hasselhoff ever good? I certainly didn't like him in Baywatch. I mean, I grew up watching Knight Rider. Did you, Ian?
I did. Was that him? That was him?
Oh yeah.
I spent way more time seeing watching what Kit was doing.
Okay.
That was more about the tech. And
Are you
the
familiar
car.
with Knight Rider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it as
Let's
a
be
kid.
clear. It was an awesome show, and it was the biggest thing going for a while. But and David Hasselhoff running in slow motion in every episode was awesome. But anyway, what were we talking about again? How much he sucks? Oh, that's right.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
David Hasselhoff sucks. Okay,
We already
he's
moved
not
past
even,
him, and
like-
we're still back to how much he sucks.
He's not even like a charismatic dick either. Like
no,
he's
he's not.
just unlikable. And I don't know how you change that. Like I don't know if there's a way to make David Hasselhoff likably unlikable. You
I know.
It just doesn't work. I don't know. They don't.
Sorry, there's got to be some issues with direction there too.
That's what I
because-
keep saying. It's got to be the director too. It's his fault.
Because there's things that he's
Oh my God.
trying that just like there's no way that you should be doing this.
Right.
Like the thing with the cigar. Why does he always have a cigar? He doesn't.
Well,
he
his
doesn't.
character does, but still.
Yeah, but David Hasselhoff does not have that face. Like he
I
can't
know.
pull that off.
I know.
He can't be the.
I know.
It's just,
He also when he's like that. Okay, so there's a scene where he first goes back to S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, and then we meet the girl that is psychic.
Oh fuck!
She says,
"Why do we need
I
a
already
psychic
have-
in this movie?" Anyway,
I already had psychic abilities, but then S.H.I.E.L.D. gave me implants to help out, and he just
that was so
stares
bad.
at
That
her
was
chest.
So bad. Yeah, that was embarrassing.
oh, I don't need ESP to know what you're thinking now.
Yeah, that was garbage. Oh, that was embarrassing.
So it's not. He didn't even look like funny.
I know.
You're-
I
like,
know.
he
Like
didn't
Chevy
even-
Chase. Like I know nothing. Nothing. I know.
It was not even like awkwardly fun.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like I need to call HR. What the fuck is happening? It's
Yeah, it's creepy.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
100%,
It,
you're
it
right.
never worked.
Of course,
No.
now I'm picturing Chevy Chase as Nick Fury.
Yeah. He'd been a lot better as Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Okay, who do we got on our list here, Josh?
I don't know. Who
a
else
bunch
do
of
you
people
want?
with interchangeable
Sandra
faces.
Hess as Andrea von Strucker.
Okay.
The Viper.
Okay, can I just say, first of all, the Viper was in the second Wolverine movie. Did you know that? She was the blonde with the green lips.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah, she was in that. So it's the same character. This woman was way too young and way too Melrose Place to play this role. There was no way she was this conniving, evil Nazi scientist. Like, she just looked like a teen.
Yeah.
The way she was like laughing and it was
She's
ridiculous.
hamming it up. She I feel like was originally supposed to actually be a vampire. Did
Hmm. I don't know.
anybody feel that?
And they kept someone forgot to buy the teeth and they're like, fuck this.
They kept
Don't have it in the
calling
budget.
her a vampire. He even she kisses him, poisons Nick Fury, and then they're like, "Oh well, if it was on her lips, then she must have built some sort of immunity to this poison. So if we get her blood, then we can find the cure to cure you of your poison or whatever." And he goes, "Well, I'll get the blood from her if I gotta suck it from that vampire's neck." And then later on, she makes a joke about being a vampire.
Okay, I know.
And then,
I get where you're going.
There's no moment. She doesn't bite him. Like I don't know. It feels weird. And then at the end of the movie, she shows up in like a vampire costume. Like she fully looks
think it's
like a
just
vampire. It's
crap. I know what you're saying. I don't think she was ever written as a vampire, but I think it's just like maybe the writer or director had one joke and then they just kept milking it and milking it and milking it. I think that's what happened.
It's almost as though the movie's poorly written.
Yeah.
right.
Well, I never said David Goyer was great. I've always suspected David Goyer keeps getting work. I've never hated anything he's done, but he's never done anything that's blown me away. Like he also wrote the new Hellraiser reboot. So I think he's one of these guys that's just known for adapting properties, and so he keeps getting work. And I'm not saying anything bad about him because maybe all of his movies have been tampered with by Hollywood, so I'm not going to say anything else about it. But yeah, he's been around forever. Okay, here's the other thing too. Then there's another girl in the movie that plays a blonde, okay?
Oh my god.
Yeah. What, did you have something to say about her?
Yeah. Okay. So she is this double agent.
Yes.
So he's like, who is it? Who's the mole? And she goes, well, it's me. And then takes out a can of hairspray, sprays her
Okay.
face, and then it's revealed that it's the same person.
I did not know what was going on. I'm like, wait, is that the same actress? Like wait, what? Yeah, I had to rewind it. So what was it supposed to be? Did something change?
It was just a different actress. It was actually a different actress.
looked exactly
they just
the same.
cast two people that looked identical. So why are you doing that? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, because did that throw you off, Ian? Or were you even like... interested enough to notice that.
By this point, my opinion of the movie was low enough that I knew what they were doing without what they were doing being readily apparent. Mm-hmm. They did the hairspray thing twice. Once was on her face, and once was like the
lasers.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the
anti-laser hairspray.
Oh my god, that was so stupid. Yes.
But like it was clear. Like once she said she's a mole and she does this, and there's this weird effect. And even though it's her same face, I know that it's okay. This is supposed to be a different person. Cast someone completely different.
Yes, that's what threw me off.
Make it as different as possible. Make it a brunette. Make it someone of a different race.
Put
make
some
it
lipstick on the one actress.
Yes.
And like, you know what I mean? Like, make it so it's obvious in that transition.
Yep.
Anything.
Yeah. Anything at all. Instead of someone who looks like they could have been. We need someone to fill this role that we just wrote. Well, how about your understudy? Because you're here on set.
Yeah, I know.
Even at the start. So there's the guy that's guarding Baron von Strucker's corpse in the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, right? And then the blonde lady comes up to him and kills him. And we see in like the body cam footage, she's like up right into the camera and is like, ha ha ha, Nick Fury's the last thing you said. And Nick Fury's looking at this like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Who is this woman? And then they go on a mission together and it looks like he's with that woman because they didn't cast them differently. I was like,
that's what I mean. That's what's like, how did he, like, what is going on?
It so confused me. I was like, how does he not know this is the person from the body cam footage he's looking at?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later that it was revealed that it's apparently a different person. Like,
yeah. Well, that's the part that did confuse me when the mole kills the person or whatever, throws them down the stairs, and they do the little the call and response thing to like the code challenge, and she walks around the corner. It's like, wait a minute, that's the bad person. And it wasn't until they started talking that I realized, oh, wait a minute, this is somebody else entirely that I just confused for the villain that we just saw minutes ago. Like, it wasn't as though a half an hour had gone by. 30 seconds, and now it's this other person that looks identical.
So that's it. Now here's the thing: is at this point, the rest of the actors I barely remember. Like they were all garbage. Like the asshole colonel that was in charge of Nick Fury, he was again terrible. He was a one-note character. He was just an asshole to Nick Fury. He had no other personality, no other character traits. The nice guy, he was black. I don't remember his name. He was like okay. I've seen him in other movies before.
Oh, the Temu James Earl Jones?
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember his name. Then there was a guy that played Dum Dum Dugan, the red-haired guy.
Canada,
and
maybe?
who was not Dum Dum Dugan
He wasn't,
at
no,
all.
He wasn't.
Dum Dum Dugan is a...
These
they turn to me
a-
to explain these things.
These characters are all real, like they're all from the comics, but they're...
And he's a pretty integral character in almost every Nick Fury story. Like he's like essentially Nick Fury's sidekick.
Yes.
And in this movie, he's just a buffoon. Like he's just like kind of there in the background.
He's not really. None of them really embody what they're supposed to.
Which guy was this?
He was the guy that like reunited with him. Hey, and he hugged him. Nick Fury, like near the beginning when he first comes onto helicarrier, he's got
like
red hair. He's kind of overweight.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
This character at
Well,
all.
he wasn't a great actor.
No. Let's see. Who else? I don't know. Baron Zemo in the wheelchair.
I barely remember him. He was nothing.
Yeah.
No, he was garbage. Again, these characters are all in the Marvel MCU now, but they're all much different. But yeah,
he's a robot with a face in his tummy.
Yeah. No, wait. No, Baron Zemo. No, Baron Zemo.
No.
Baron Zemo has the purple thing.
Oh, sorry.
Arnim
Right.
Zola.
Arnim Zola. That's who it was,
Yeah,
right?
I don't remember who he was. Does it say in your Wikipedia? Maybe. Because Arnim Zola, actually...
Yeah, it's Arnim Zola.
Yeah. Arnim Zola is a cool character. Imagine a normal-looking guy with no head, with a camera instead of a head, but then a video image of a face on his chest. It's pretty damn cool when you see it in the comics.
Weird.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But they can never get it right in the movies or the TV shows.
No, not really.
No.
It was kind of cool in Winter Soldier, what they did with it, but...
It was okay. It was okay. Here's the thing. Look, this was 1998. Austin Powers was 1999. I'm not saying they had the budget of Austin Powers, but if they would have gone that retro route and made everything intentionally... Again, like if you're going to have Arnim Zola, I mean, they could have had a TV monitor, even if it looked like a tube TV, that would have been cool. And maybe just green screened out ahead. They could have maybe pulled it off. Just try it. Give it some bright colors. Like have the flying cars. All the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents have flying cars. They could have figured out a way to pull it off, I think, but they didn't. Like this show was just abysmal, I thought. That's it. Ian, what else is there to say about this?
I don't know. Like there was, as I was watching it, there were so many little bits that I just thought to myself, this is ridiculous. I can't wait to roast this little bit on the podcast. But then it just all escapes my brain. Right? Oh, the one little bit where right after he meets the mole and they do the challenge, and then he adds it's something about truth and beauty. That quote, I forget exactly what it is.
Shakespeare?
It's
Or is it just Star Trek?
No, it's Shakespeare or something. And she's like, "Oh, is that part of the challenge response?" He's like, "No, I just wanted to say it." Oh, good. I'm glad that happened. This is really moving the plot along. So many little stupid things. It's just
even the plot of Baron von Strucker having some sort of something in his blood.
Oh yeah, the whole MacGuffin.
Destroy the world with bombs.
Oh, that
So they need his body.
Yeah.
That's on ice.
Some virus that they had made way back in the day, and they destroyed it all, except a little of it might live on in his DNA.
And it turns out he's also alive.
At the very, very end.
At the very end.
After they do you mentioned Austin Powers. It was a totally Austin Powers moment where she what's her face? There's a second countdown and she gets out of the handcuffs and jumps into the cryo tube with her dad, and she's like, oh, and then it
so
slowly lowers down,
and then he finally gets dang, she's halfway to China by now.
Was half expecting a giant big boy statue to launch out of the...
Well,
you could see her. Like, it went so slow. Oh man. Everything about this movie. Or even the psychic girl having to get the nuclear code.
yes.
And then, is it a 6? Is it a 9? Is it a 6? Or is it a 9?
Well,
it's like...
And the idea was
and I don't
supposed to be...
care. Like,
was that Countessa was like tricking her.
right.
I believe, but they didn't make that
she
clear.
was.
Yeah.
But the problem is that they made it too clear. They made it so clear that they knew about it too.
Yeah.
Right? Is it a 6 or is it a 9? It's a 6. No, wait, it's a 9. It's a 9. It's a 9. And then she goes...
Yeah. right.
And then David Hasselhoff sees her and he's like, oh, wait, no, it is a 6.
Yeah.
Like you just have a poker face for 2 seconds and you've destroyed the world
Instead
like you're
of just
planning.
doing one of these, yeah.
You're about to fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly. So, as I was watching this movie, I realized I think every single major 60s Marvel property was adapted into a live action property before the MCU began, before we'll say Blade or X-Men, except for Iron Man. Because if you think about it, we've had Spider-Man, we had Hulk, we had Captain America, we had Thor, we had Daredevil, we had Doctor Strange. We even have Nick Fury. Oh, we didn't have Ant-Man. So there's only two.
So
There's
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and Iron Man are the only ones that did not get a live action adaptation before the big movie started in 1999. Or 98. Just something to think about.
Which
Yeah,
was
a lot.
less than 10 years after this.
Actually, well, no, because it's only a year later. Well, a year or two later, they started X-Men, and then a couple years after that, it was Spider-Man. Then it was Fantastic Four. Oh yeah, Fantastic Four was also adapted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every character, like we said,
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's maybe Ghost Rider. I don't know.
I'm just saying like the 60s ones created by Stanley, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko, the major ones. Yeah, they all got an adaptation except Iron Man and Ant-Man.
Do you know how much involvement Stan Lee had with this? Because I saw that he got an XP credit.
I think it's one of those. They probably had a meeting with him, paid for it, and like, thanks for coming out. And that was it. I don't know though. I don't know. I didn't read up much on it. Yeah, I don't know. This was during a strange time because this was around the time Marvel was bankrupt or coming out of bankruptcy. So they were probably just selling off their properties to make money to get out of bankruptcy. So this is probably one of them. They just like, okay, you can have this for a few million. You can have that for a few million. That was it. I think that's what happened anyway. So again, now we know why this movie came and went, why I never saw it, why you never saw it, right?
No.
Ian, had you ever heard of it?
Oh my God. No.
Okay.
No.
I'm glad you didn't. It's also out of time. Like, again, this came out at the exact same time that Batman and Robin was coming out and Blade was about to come out. Like, it feels like an 1988 movie, not a 1998 movie, right?
Yeah. And it would have sucked as a 1988 movie.
Yes, it would have.
Even in terms of things like special effects.
Right. True.
Was this a pilot for something? Was this going to be a show?
It was a failed pilot. It was supposed to be a pilot, and they obviously didn't pick it up.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Could you imagine seasons of this?
Oh, no.
Seasons of David Hasselhoff.
Never.
Brooding.
Yeah, so there you go. Do not watch this. I got to say, this movie's bad. It's
real bad.
Unenjoyable, right?
Yeah. It was worse than watching election results.
Yeah.
Yeah, arguably, yeah.
And like there are small, tiny moments that are like so ridiculous it's kind of funny. But I feel like they're so few and far in between. Yeah, that it's not worth it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not worth waiting an hour and 15 minutes to find out that Nick Fury's been walking around with an exploding eyeball behind his eye patch.
Yeah, my God. Where the hell is this stuff coming from?
Yeah, like that should be funny, but it's just not.
Like you don't have time to set that up, but you have 25 minutes to just wander around Manhattan looking for a truck that's cold enough to hold the missiles.
Right.
That you're gonna. Everything about the villain's plot is so convoluted too.
Right.
You have this virus and you're gonna kill everyone in Manhattan, but you have to launch the virus into Manhattan from across the river from missiles. You can't just drop a vial and let people get sick. You have to have a missile launch with codes.
Well, that's what I mean. They have to give it spectacle and give it like whatever gravitas. But yeah, it's silly. It's very silly. It's not well thought out. It's a 15th rate Mission Impossible James Bond plot. Basically.
The only part of this movie that I actually sat back and said, "Whoa," was when they showed the one person that they had infected with this disease.
Okay.
And it's this woman in this isolation bed, and she's got this messed up face, and she's screaming.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that's some good makeup, and that's some good acting.
Yeah.
And that lasted 12 seconds.
Right. Even, oh my God, it's funny because if you talk about acting, even the very opening scene, when there's two guys, I think they were looking in like a cryogenic chamber or whatever, and one of the guys is like, just the way they were acting, because, there's always this...
Shoots Biden's back.
Yeah, but there's always this thing about like... Oh, only the best actors make it in Hollywood, right? Like the best of the best. And I hate to say it, but you watch things like this and you're like, I have friends that are better actors than this idiot. I'm sorry, actor who was in this. that acting was garbage. It's also the director's fault, but still.
Oh, yeah, act like the biggest meathead you possibly can. Now we're guarding a corpse.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It just wasn't. And then the other guy, but the way that it played out, it's like they didn't even know what they were. It's like, okay, I know you're doing a trope and a cliche, but you're not even doing it right. You're just not getting the effect that you want. It was just bad. It was crap. Ugh, I hated it. Anyway, watch Commando instead.
Yeah, watch anything instead.
Yeah, watch anything.
Watch Demolition Man again instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch, I don't know, watch The Scarlet Pimpernel instead.
Yeah, might as well. So this is near the bottom of the heap, guys. But come back next week because we'll be reviewing another superhero adaptation. And it'll probably suck too, but that's okay. But yeah, and join us every week here at Meteor.
Every single week without fail.
Except for this week and last week. But next week we'll be back. By the time this airs, we'll be up and running again, right? So every Wednesday at Meteor, sometimes Tuesday, but usually Wednesday. So yeah, I want to thank you, Champion, for joining us once again. Yeah. And Josh, where can you find our episodes?
You can find all of our stuff over on our website at thecomicbooksyndicate.com. All of our podcasts are video formats. You can also find them on our YouTube channel. So leave us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's right. Till the next time. See you later.